Good morning everybody and welcome to the weekly vlog. I've just cleaned these, as you can see, because these were filthy after the last time I ran in them, but we're going to be doing 20 miles in these today. This follows on from yesterday's video, which is hopefully when you see this, no, Friday's video. I get confused when I put these videos out. Anyway, I've got to get changed now. It's coming up to 9 o'clock, so I've got to get these in the house. I've got to get changed, get ready, because Toby's on his way. So we're going to do 20 miles in these, then we're going to have a bit of a catch up, but yeah, more importantly than anything else, see how these get on as a training shoe over 20 miles. 1, 2, 3. What is up, everybody? We are back, and a cup of coffee. And tell me, have you tried this? It is the new white version. Oh, let me know in the comments. Right, so 20 miles done, and I tell you what. Also, while you're in the comments, let me know: is it starting to feel like spring where you are? It is so nice. There's the last couple of weeks, I suppose. It's not been raining. Temperatures are going up, and it just feels slightly positive. We had some good news here in the UK in terms of lockdowns and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know, I think it changes your whole outlook a little bit on life, in particularly with the temperatures going up and stuff like that. And actually, while we talk about that quickly, subject I very briefly want to touch on, and it's really for you guys out there. We have a lot of guys who watch this channel. I mentioned it, and if you're not part of the 40 Runs running club, you won't know what I'm talking about, but we did the news, the most recent newsletter. So if you're in the UK and you're not affiliated with any club or whatever, you're already affiliated but you want to move, then join 40 Runs running club. It's the UK England Athletics affiliate running club. Anyway, it's virtual, so you don't have to go to club runs and that sort of stuff. Anyway, the reason I mention it, and this is a serious point, I know on 40 Runs we do muck about from here to point, but I talked briefly about mental health for men, and this is a serious point, and I want to use my media platforms. I'm not saying that I'm some sort of influencer or anything like that, but I'm lucky enough to have this channel, this platform, and obviously the various communities and everything, and the club and everything like that. And I want to talk very briefly about mental health for men, because myself, during this lockdown in particular, I really struggled with my mental health, really struggled. I think it probably, I mean, I put myself out there on these sort of platforms, so, you know, you do come into for criticism, and there's horrible people out there who go after you and criticise you and all that sort of stuff, and I'm fully aware of that, and that's my own fault for putting myself out on these platforms. But you do come in for criticism, but that's not my point. The point is that even myself, this last lockdown, I've really struggled. Running has been a gift for me, as always, but obviously I haven't had the clubs, I haven't had the social interaction, all that sort of stuff that I thrive on. Personal life, you know, with work and that, like, it's always tricky, and I've really struggled with my mental health. But I've been really lucky, the fact that I've got an amazing wife, an amazing family, an amazing support network for me to deal with these things. And my point to you is, if you're a man and you're watching this, and this might sound sexist because it, applies obviously to women, but it's for the men, because the reason for the men is because the alarming suicide rate amongst men my age, I'm 41, 42, I can't remember now. Yeah, it's alarming. And I think the pandemic, in terms of mental health, is going to cause problems far-reaching, more than we ever know. And I just want to talk to you, if you're a man and you're sitting at home and maybe your wife goes out and then you sit there and you cry, or you don't have the energy to get, or the impetus to get out of bed because you just think, what's the point? All that sort of stuff. You need to talk to somebody. There's charities out there, if you're not lucky enough to have friends and family to talk to, but there's charities out there that you need to speak to, and it's really important that you talk to somebody. If you're feeling low or whatever, you need to talk to somebody. And I just wanted to use this week's video, before I get into the usual mucking about, to put that message across. It is really, really important. And this has come from somebody who struggles as well. And I want to let you know that it's okay. You need to talk to somebody, because talking to somebody will make a huge, huge difference. Okay, so 20 miles done. And that wasn't, I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Obviously, we done elements at goal pace. That was the whole aim of the run. We pulled it forward a little bit, basically because I don't have to go into work on Saturday night, so we pulled it forward so we could really gun it, and it worked out okay. I was really pleased with how I was feeling. It was a struggle, I'm not going to lie to you. I always tell you if I'm struggling, I'm not one of these elite runners who can run really, really fast. You know, I've got struggles when I'm out there running, and that was a case. I felt like I did better on the fueling. I definitely did better on my hydration, and it definitely felt like the training's starting to work. I think if I could leave you, one of the things I want to talk about today is in terms of tips for running 20 miles, is just to break it down, because 20 miles is a big number. A lot of people get scared about it, and there's nothing to be scared about. Just break the distance down. Just think about, 10k, 10k, 10k. Focus on maybe the last 5k. Control your pace. Ideally, you know your route before you go out as well. I always build routes, so I always start at the start of the training block with a route that I basically then start building on. So it becomes that 20-mile route at the end, but then I can downscale it again back to that sort of 10k, 5k route. And they're the sort of things I would recommend for you. Get your fueling right, really important. I was fueling every 45 minutes today, to give you an example. Usually on those easy days I do every 60 minutes, but today 45 minutes to simulate that race day. But yeah, just focus on the present, focus on the now. There's sort of my couple of tips if you're running 20 miles. Right, now, how did the Alphafly get on? Okay, so to follow up with our video, and actually I don't know whether it was what day it came out, but anyway, we'll get into it. Make sure you've seen that video, because I've done a video on what it's like to use the Alphafly as a daily trainer. Now, it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek to start with, but actually it was a relatively serious video, because I wanted to find out, after watching a interview with Kipchoge on Believe in the Run, check out their YouTube channel, he mentioned the fact that he trains in basically Vaporflies and uses his Alphaflies. And I thought to myself, well, what's it like actually to use the Alphafly as a daily trainer? Now, I totally understand that the Alphafly, and I mentioned this in the other video, let me know in the comments, have you seen that video, is out of reach of most people and all that sort of stuff. I totally get that. But as a sort of scientific experiment, what it's actually like to live with as a daily trainer. Well, I also wanted to do the 20 miles in it to find out as a daily trainer, as a shoe that you would use in marathon training, what's it like to go and do your big long runs in, instead of actually just using it for race day. Now, I've got that version up there, which is the same, it's just different colourway, ready for race day in April. So I've got my older version here, which has done a marathon in it and has done other sort of distances in it. I've done 10Ks, 5Ks, 20 miles and all that sort of stuff. But I then put it through a daily training rotation. But I wanted to get it into that sort of longer run to find out as well what it would be like to have it as a sort of training shoe for those really, really long runs. And it was quite interesting, actually, to use it for those sort of slower paces in that longer run. And I can see, actually, a slight benefit of using it on those longer, those 18, 20-mile runs that I'm doing in marathon training. To use that shoe that you would use on race day in those races and events is quite... Actually, I think it was quite beneficial for me. Let me know in the comments. Do you use your race day shoe for those final big runs that you do in marathon training? It's obviously a carbon plated shoe, so I think that helped. But the ZoomX was amazing. It just felt effortless when I was out there, and I was able to carry the sort of momentum. I was able to carry I wouldn't say the speed, but I was able to carry my energy levels through my run with the shoe. It definitely felt easy the first half, and I think some of that is down to the shoe as well. Yeah, and I was actually, it helped obviously that it's super breathable and all that sort of stuff, but I actually feel like I had a performance gain from using it in a training run. So it's an open-ended question to you guys. Do you agree? Do you not agree? I mean, I've done a video on whether you should use carbon-plated racing shoes for everyday runs and that sort of stuff. Check that video out. But for me, actually, I think going forward, I may actually do the same again and use the Alphafly or similar, because I'm lucky enough to have 1 million pairs of shoes. Like we've got the Endorphin Pro over there. I mean, I use my speeds, the Saucony speeds anyway. But, you know, sort of these hyper shoes on those big training runs where I'm really sort of getting into race day mode. And I'm glad in a way actually now that, and hopefully you've seen part 1, that I've actually done this sort of little series to find out what it's like to have the Alphafly as a daily trainer, as a training partner. Yeah, I mean, it's expensive. It's 270 odd pound. Like I say, it's totally out of the reach of a lot of people. I appreciate that. But yeah, I just think it's actually not the worst idea that I've ever had. So there you go, guys. Hopefully this video has been useful this week. I really just wanted to talk about, you know, doing the 20 miles as we go through the marathon training series that we're doing. Importantly, talk about mental health. I really wanted to talk about that this week. And then just finish off that sort of, it's not even a series, is it? But part 2, talking about the Alphafly as a training shoe. Because I just thought that'd be interesting to do this week. Right, next week, I'm not actually sure what we got planned. I think Toby was talking about doing a easy 20 mile again, but down the canal towpath. So maybe we do a different shoe or something down there. I don't know yet. I'll think about that in a week. But that's it. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Have you got a pair of Alphaflys? Do you want to get a pair of Alphaflys? Do you train in the Vaporflies? Let me know in the comments. Let's start a discussion down there, and I will dive into the comments as always when this video drops. But that's it from me, guys. Have a great, fantastic, amazing, awesome week. I'll catch you guys later.